It's going to be very difficult to do so, don't get me wrong, but I have hopes for them to put on a better performance than they did on Mirage.
It is actually worth noting that in terms of like, so Simple 110.4 ADR, Electronic 110.5. Plopsky was 110.2. Like, he actually did a lot of damage considering how badly they got battered, and he was at least performing to a standard. Now, both their AWPers, like the two potential players who could bring in a double AWP setup on this map, really underperformed. So Twist, Nork, there needs to be a step up if they're going to have a chance, and already Nork is gone within the first couple of seconds. Boomage is going to pick off Rez as well. Twist trying to hold on, but this is just further bombardment as they wipe down this A site like there was no one there to begin with. Lekro again with a passing kill as he looks to just leave this round, as there's still 4 more Na'Vi players to catch, and I don't think they're going to give him too much more.
I would not imagine so. That was already a landmark round for Na'Vi, putting their foot down and showing that they're still here, ready to play, to continue from the first map of Mirage. And that girl, I mean, no kit at the moment, does have a kit near the bomb. He's pretty much just running out of ammo there, and he's also run out of HP as Flamey takes his head off, and Na'Vi again, just continuing before. Flamey gets a triple, Boomage gets 2, and they take the pistol round.
Flamey's actually looking really good in this iteration of the roster as well. Like, there's been previous, like, different teams within Na'Vi that he's been in where I've thought, okay, he's not really having the best games. It doesn't look like he fits too well in this system, but from the match today, at least versus NIP, he's looked actually really good, like one of the pivotal players when it comes to like impact as well. Like, he's not going to be your star, he's not going to be the top player most of the time, but he has been putting up numbers, and like at least his positioning, like you talk about him playing aggressively on short, on mid and Mirage, he barely ever got taken down without at least a kill to his name, which is easier said than done when the T's are challenging for it. This round, though, there is Twist picking up that scout, and he is going to be able to get the opener. They've gone for a triple scout setup, which on any other map I'd be a little bit worried about, but on Train it can definitely work.
Well, Simple's still alive, and he has the SG as well, so I have to be very wary of this. So I got Twist watching his angle, actually 2 different players watching this position as the smoke comes in. And you can see the rest of his teammates, I mean, they're still kind of trying to figure out where they want to go. 3 players can be grouping up to head in towards the inner bomb site. And Simple being dinked up. Going to throw some guns out of the map here to make sure they cannot be retrieved for NIP.
Yeah, they only did that because the rest of his team are going towards the B side, so there's never going to be the retrieval of this weapon. I think they've also spotted multiple scouts, so it's understandable that they want to now face into B and force a retake out of the ninjas in pajamas, because the chances of retaking with the triple scouts purely rely on your opposition facing against you. So if they just get the bomb down, fall back into more passive positions, there's actually a good chance for them here. Boomage, risky plays. Like, his job is solely to get the bomb down. He's taking faces, but now they're going to get aggressive. And this is where these scouts are fairly unreliable.
Especially with Perfecto trying to play with a MAC-10 up close and personal. You also have Simple playing up higher with the SG. Flamey, he's looking for his own shots, and there you go, just lining him up and taking him down. A lot of extra money built up for the economy of Na'Vi. Nock is trying to survive, but no chance here. Perfecto gets himself a triple, and Flamey gets 2. So we've had 2 rounds now where only 2 players get kills for Na'Vi.
The thing that's like really good about that round especially was that Na'Vi were in a detrimental position. They lost their first man, Simple got tagged up, he ended up just getting rid of some of the weaponry outside the map. So basically what they decide to do is just a mid-round call of, okay, we've spotted a lot of scouts, we've been tagged up a few times, let's get the bomb down on B and play where we have a big advantage now in the retake scenario. And they did it perfectly. As said, Boomage with a good mid-round call.
Oh.
We're going to see the stack up onto the back of the train, and I enjoy this stack. Like, it gives you a chance to get some kills. Chances are now that they won't get too much more done, and Perfecto just farming up the frags. It's as easy as you like. Only going to be Lekro remaining, but at least something. They invested barely anything into that round.
Is there a name for that stack?
I don't know.
I'm going to call it the Ginyu Force. Now, I also just forgot that you've never watched anything animated in your life. So it's a Dragon Ball Z reference.
Oh.
Where they stack up similar to that. I'll show you a picture after.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen, Twitch chat. It's probably not going to happen, though, because I suggested it. Timeout coming in for Na'Vi. You know, I'll keep an eye on Twitch chat and see if they're like, yeah, Jason, we support you. We're going to follow you on Twitter and Instagram, @JKaplan.
I think that is very optimistic.
You know me. You know I'm an optimist.
Same. We're actually going to see tactical pause called by Na'Vi. And considering the way these rounds have gone, that's interesting. I do wonder if this is maybe more of a technical bit. It doesn't seem to be. Just taking a moment to talk things over going into their first buy round. I have to say, if that is the case, I like it. Boomage is yet to buy a gun, so I still, until I see him purchase, I am still wondering if this is more of a tech pause than anything else. But no, clearly just having a chat about what they're going to be doing in the first round. This is one of the pivotal points of this map, is the fact that if the Ts can get off to a good start, shut down that early CT buy, they can put themselves into a great position. Nork is going to have his first AWP. Utility decent as well for the Ninjas, considering it's their first buy of the half. And already, Letcro actually gets dinked up through the wall. He's got to be careful in these sort of positions. They even double up on B in the early rounds, maybe expecting some of the SMGs to still be standing for Na'Vi. So hoping that they would go for a blast play in towards this site. But for now, they are going to do it. They do have full rifles.
I am honestly surprised Lekro did not fall from that actually on the in-betweens of the bomb site. In fact, it's going to fall as well as Lekro just seems to be picking them off left and right. Simple, though, able to respond finally to help claw things back in potentially Navi's favor if you can find another. And that was, I think, through the smoke, if I'm not mistaken, onto Flamey. So a little bit of a rough time here for Na'Vi to make this hit work, but Simple is still alive, and Simple hit shots. We all know that, but Lekro will finally shut him down with his triple. And it looks like NIP will be able to get their first round on the board here.
Yeah, I don't know who threw the flash that basically saved Lekro's life, but there was a moment there where Boomage crossed, as you said, you were like, oh, I don't know how he's still alive. It's because he was blind. Like, someone actually caught him with a flashbang as he just went past. So whoever threw that, whichever team as well, because I'm not quite sure, but that will have saved Lekro's life. And because of that, he's actually ended up with a triple kill. So a pretty big play to come up with a good site defense, especially after the initial damage he took was at the very beginning of the round. So he didn't take a point of damage from then onwards. Electronic just going to be looking to try and save this gun, mainly because Flame Eat Simple and Perfecto are still going to be able to buy into the next round. It will be Boomage a little bit off on the cash front. And so they're going to be able to put the pressure straight back onto the Ninjas, who they've already kept their AWP. They've kept a couple of SGs as well, and their buy should be pretty decent as well.
I do want to give you guys a quick update if you've been with us here on the B stream for the majority of the day. We do have a victor in the Virtus Pro versus Mad Lions match. It was Mad Lions winning 2-1 in the series. So now they'll play against the loser of Mouse Sports and G2 Esports, which is the next match going over on the main stream. So if you want to check that match out, go over to twitch.tv/ESL_CSGO, and you can go watch that one over there, or stick with us. That's also preferred from our opinion.
The interesting thing about that is that was a 10-5 T-side half initially for Virtus Pro, and then 11 rounds came up for Mad Lions on the T-side as well. So both teams focused on that T-side performance, but I feel like Virtus Pro are going to be a little bit disappointed that they let that one slip away, and it basically continues to add to the fire of what have been the recent performances of that roster. They definitely look better here. I think that's easy to say compared to their Leipzig performance. As obviously much better opposition. Taking Liquid to overtime is always going to be something that you feel a bit bad for them that they weren't able to take that one over the line, but them versus Mad Lions, a close affair, but unfortunately that means we have lost another team in this tournament, and while at the end of this map, or maybe the end of the next one, we will be losing another team.
Oh my gosh, the timing, but Boomage can't get the kill. Actually, no, sorry, he does get the kill, but he dies from another angle. Look, Chonk's able to avenge him, though. Simple gets one on Therese, and this round, I mean, we're 30 seconds in, and NIP's down to just 2 players. It's Knock and Lekro. Lekro pushing through the smoke. They're not going to expect this, but the problem is I don't think he's able to stop the bomb from being planted, as the Molotov will buy a little of extra seconds. Flamey comes back in. He has an opportunity to pick up a kill or two. Spots up Perfecto, but they know exactly where he's going to be now, and Flamey looking to wrap around the corner, but Lekro expects it. He predicts it. He gets the kill. He needs some backup from Knock, though, who has the AWP. He has to worry about Electronic holding that angle towards Ivy. And the time is taken away here, Tom.
Yeah, they do need to get a move on Norks, the one with the kit as well, and he's got a fair few players to bypass. He expects... How does he miss that shot? Well, luckily gets the second, but Perfecto's just waiting, and he doesn't even get the kill. Simple's like, yoink, that one's mine. I'm padding my stats in this series and continues to dominate. And Lekro has no choice but to try and save. He has been performing a little bit better here, but the difference now being that everybody else hasn't yet stepped up. Like, that single round that they gathered was purely off his individual skill. Reyes yet to frag. Plopsky, he's got a couple, but he was one of the big hitters in the game that they played previously, even though it was an absolute dominating performance for Na'Vi. For him to still get over 110 ADR shows that he was at least there. But that's a big round as well. There was only 3 players surviving in the previous as well for the Ninjas, so they can't really afford a back-to-back investment. Letcro going to have to try and be the hero once again, and at least initially they're going to stack up towards that A site, but more so just so Letcro can throw a little bit of utility to try and help them out initially. I like Boomin just rolling that round as well. He had a weaker weapon, so he has to play aggressively. He gets in the faces, finds a kill, and then gets traded, gives them a man advantage, and then the buy that they had previously is not anywhere near as bad. This round, well, they are firmly in the driver's seat, but they're still going to go back to Ivy once again.
Oh, Boomage. He's being spotted out here, wraps around the corner, the scout as well, but Boomage is going to get a second. Noak has an opportunity to maybe hit a shot here, help weaken up and soften up the lineup out of Na'Vi, but so far, Boomage is the only one to take damage, and that's only 32. Letcro with the SG. Only rifle remaining here for an IP. Could play spoiler, but as we see on the minimap now, a lot of Na'Vi are going to be rotating back in towards this inner bomb site. You have currently Flamey making his way up, gathering that information. Though at the same time, Electronic's been able to get a decent position here with the help of the smoke. So maybe they're going to rotate back towards the outer bomb site through pop or something. If Electronic can get a kill, or maybe catch him on the rotate.
Yeah, I think his job is just to hold off any rotations or even just play distraction. Good work from Letcro again, but the jig is now up. They'll realize very quickly that this is actually going to be a B play, and there's nothing they can really do. At least with his extra kill, they can now save 2 guns. I'm hoping that we won't see any real aggression out from Letcro in this scenario, because not only are his teammates under-equipped, but they're very, very far away. So it is just going to be the full save. All in all, okay, you're still allowing Na'Vi to build up a bit of a bank, and they are going to get their 5th T-side round already, which that's a bit of a worry, especially when you consider the past. Like, you'd normally expect some big CT sides, but it seems like Boomage, as an in-game leader, definitely starting to develop. And that's something that really excites me about this side is, okay, sure, in the past, you've had the likes of Zeus, who obviously has many awards, accolades in his name, but there was never really a replacement. Like, the suggestions were always people like Angel. Like, he was always the one that people were like, when's he going to join Na'Vi? But other than that, it was fairly questionable. Okay, maybe you could have thrown people even like Jame into the mix, but I actually think that Boomage has been a fantastic addition to this team, growing over time. And if you look at the way that he's making these mid-round calls, like, they had full Ivy control there. He then takes it all the way back, avoids the stack, makes sure they keep the majority of the players alive. We've seen that in previous rounds versus the Pistols. They take Ivy control with Simple, things don't go too well. He then sets them up, gets rid of the guns, and then they push into the site and take control. And it's nice to see from a team that in the past may not have been the most, or have the most strategical depth.
I like that smoking towards Ivy as well, actually, to allow them to push out and get control. You can see Plop's going to be there looking for it. Shauna can be forced back and having a slow game so far, only with 1 kill, but then again, we've seen so many triple and double kills out of Na'Vi players. Just hasn't had his opportunity just yet. And Simple. Nope. I thought he was actually going to catch someone out, but Twist gets the better of him, so a big kill coming through out of NIP to get the man advantage early on.
Yeah, good start to the round, and definitely one of the players you want to be clearing out. Of course, only a single piece of the puzzle. Now, I'm just going to be patiently waiting to see where Na'Vi actually make their play. Electronic just being given the space to maneuver around this Olaf position. Plopsky's still going to be up there. He will hear the footsteps, left a little bit blind. Peeks into the angle, but finds the kill nonetheless. Gives that 2-man advantage. But in the meantime, once again, they're making moves in the other direction. However, it's Letcro to defend. He has the support of Nauk. They can afford to double up now that they have such an advantage. And Perfecto, well, he now has another opportunity to pull off a clutch, but this is one I don't really believe in. A much better round coming up from the Ninjas. Decent opening picks. Perfecto does get a kill, but he takes a decent amount of damage in return and makes the likelihood of doing too much more fairly slim. I always wonder if it would have been worth holding onto the gun just because he could have handed that over to Electronic, but I guess the call was made that, okay, we need to keep their economy low rather than have everything for the next round.
Well, Simple's still on 6K, so we potentially could see the op picked up for him. Okay, actually, no, for timeout to talk some things over. 2 timeouts already done, 7 rounds in. Kind of surprised, actually, out of Na'Vi, where they didn't really need to take it on Mirage because they were so dominating. They're really trying to, I guess, figure this one out to really kind of break the economy potentially out of NIP.
I actually really like this as well because, as said, like this is one of those maps where the T-side rounds are normally, I would even say the toughest. Like, sure, the SG has given you slight advantages when it comes to range, but when it comes to like actually getting into some of these choke points, it's very difficult. And to be varied on train is also quite tough. Like, you have set smokes, you have a fair few positions that you can challenge, but it's more the CTs that can go for more gambles when it comes to their setups on this map. So I like the fact that Na'Vi are basically just taking their time, trying to make sure that they can get to at least like 7 rounds, considering the start they've had. And then going into the CT side, you have those lights out players who are going to perform on this map. Like, I don't think there's going to be too many reasons for Boomage to need to go, okay, simple, yeah, we need to change the way you're playing with this AWP. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Electronics set up in like strong positions. I don't think there's going to be too much that they're going to worry about. Whereas on the T side, that's where they need to adapt. That's where they need to try and catch out some of the plays that are being made and maybe spot out the vulnerabilities. And, well, clearly, they're feeling like a faster play towards this B site is the call to make.
Well, the bane of their existence have been these SGs that NIP's been able to use with Twist. You saw taking down Simple in the last round, and Lekr playing so far back in sight. He takes down Flamey. The bomb's going to make its way in towards. Should be planted in a second, but Lekr, he's just not done yet. He pushes up yet again, gets a second and a third, not able to connect on a Perfecto, who's eventually able to shut him down. And now the bomb's in the hands of NIP. And I expect Twist to push up as well, but Perfecto, I talked about him clutching the last round in the 1v5. Now he's 1v2 with 3 kills already to his name. He's going to need that ace to clutch this out for him and his team.
He knows where one of the players is, just trying to use the ladders to his advantage. The only issue is he has absolutely no idea where Plopsky currently sits and is actually a little bit worried about being flanked. So we'll clear that position now. Still 30 seconds left on the clock, which is not a massive amount of time, but definitely enough. But Plopsky is clearly aware of where his opponent is, and the Swede will have a fairly easy job to clean up that round. Again, though, Lekr on this B site has been phenomenal. Like, sure, his stats, well, actually, they're pretty decent. I was going to say they're not insane, but he's actually the top fragger in the whole server, 11-4 up. And that is all you can really ask for if you are a fan of the Ninjas in Pyjamas, is if your B-site defender, your solo player most of the time, is top of the board and holding down the B-site, you now need to be winning the game because he's giving you so much more space to do other things elsewhere on the map.
Just quite a few rounds as well. He's been able to get like 2-3 kills and stay alive. Boomage try to come down with the Zeus there. Flamey drops as well, right into the welcoming arms of Rez, who picks himself up another kill.
No, he's on the board now.
Yeah.
Not the most impressive way to get on there, but I think a lot of the time that can be the mental block for a lot of players is, I don't have a kill, I don't have a kill, I don't have a kill. Like, whether or not they'd admit it, I know that I myself, when I play at my scrub level, that's always going to be the case. Like, I'll do what, it has to get that little bit better.
How does it feel having that level of anxiety throughout every game you play?
I'm just bad. Like, I've come to accept that. I think that's the one thing I can at least be honest with myself at is there's a reason I'm a caster, and it is that I am not good enough to play.
I think that's how most casters get into it.
It's probably. Some won't admit that, though, I'm sure.
Well, Twist now going to be holding on to the Ivy angle. He's going to need a hell of a shot as Simple here to shut him down. He's not going to be able to deliver, unfortunately, for him. Okay, he will deliver. All right, Commentator's Curse still going to stick around for me. 2020 is not treating me well. Still, they have more kills they need to find before they can even get this bomb down, and Simple will eventually fall. Electronic now by himself. Switch over to the P250, but not able to quite connect. NIP getting one step closer to tied up at 5, currently at 4 at the moment. But we're going to see Na'Vi. I don't know, they can obviously buy into this round, but it's going to be a little awkward for Simple.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to get too much utility and definitely wouldn't be able to have his AWP. But we are starting to see a couple of players now wake up on the Ninja side, which, as mentioned, it's important to see a change from that last map. Already getting more rounds, which isn't really too much to write home about, but they're also starting to build into this map. Like, you can see the way that they're winning the rounds as well, a lot cleaner than we ever saw, even in the few that they managed to win. They're starting to build up a bank as well on the CT side, which always going to be important on train, that you basically start getting momentum, you start rolling forward. Plopsky, though, starting to get confident, getting aggressive, taking control away from Na'Vi. Smoke even going to go down, which will leave Perfecto just having to wait out the time on that smoke. In fact, looking like they might even double up around that area. They really are playing a very aggressive CT side hold. Still leaving Lekra alone, of course, but you can understand it at this point. He has been fantastic on this B site, and all the Ts, currently at least, just waiting outside A.
I'm a little bit worried, though. If Twist dies, I guess they technically now have Knock they're helping to watch with AWP. Before, I was wondering if he did fall, the people pushed up in middle would be very susceptible to being flanked from the backside. They're actually going to push through the smoke here. Boom is going to trade 1-for-1. Will they expect Rez to be here on top of the train, though?
Yeah, Nork picking off another E4s. Oh, that's gone as badly as it could have done. Any confidence that Rez has gained has quickly gone back out the window. That is unfortunate. And now, still with a man advantage at least. Lekro, he's rotated in. They have the full force of the ninjas on this side of the map. And actually, there's not much time. Simple on Electronic, the 1-2 punch, trying to get back into the side, but it's only going to be Simple, and even he can't snap to Lekro there. 5-5, a streak of rounds coming up for the ninjas in Pyjamas. And now, once again, Na'Vi are going to have to take a moment as they can't really invest anything. And again, we're seeing a slower start to Electronic, who normally is one of their better performers on the T side, so they might just be missing him a little bit here. And I think we're also seeing what I meant by why they were taking the pauses on the T side. It's very easy once the CT side get all of their money sorted. They have the double orb like they do now. They've got lots of utility. It's easy for things to get out of control for the T side. And it's starting to get that way. Na'Vi not really even making a dent in the defense over the last few rounds.
Very true. Though the double up might come out to work for them if they just decide to pick up the pace again. Like try to rush into one of these sides, make those ops relatively ineffective. Because this is the first time we're seeing the double up set up for an IP, but they've had their success mostly without it. I do get a little bit worried for them if the switch up will actually work out in their favor, but so far it hasn't. Plopsy has gone down, but no weapon recovered just yet. Trying to set them up with the help of the smoke, and that should force Knock into a different position. But Rez has a really good angle here if they do decide to push out. He has to worry about the two players, though, towards Pop.
He's also had a few dicey rounds, and he's in quite a pivotal position. You can see his teammate of Nork actually starting to rotate in the other direction, so he's going to have the majority of the work to do. Luckily, versus the pistols, he does have a big advantage. You can see the boost up also coming in for Simple, so he's going to be able to spot anybody on top of the train. So that spot is basically null and void now. They know that that's clear, which was somewhere that Rez was actually playing in the previous round. Instead, he's right back towards Stopper. Now, this is exactly how you should be playing against the pistols, because most of the time it's the close range battles that are an issue, but if Flamey could do stuff like that, it doesn't matter. Rez is gone once again. As said, it's not been the best game for him, but there's nothing he could do about that one. Nork also missing a couple of shots. They're going to boost up Lekra, and he might be the man to try and fix things for them here. The thing is, though, these T players can now just sit in passive positions. They don't need to fight versus the CT's Flamey. He's got himself another kill. He has been fantastic in this map so far, dragging them through this round. Nice fadeaway shot from Lekra. Will at least give them a chance in this 2v4, but I think the time is ticked just too far. I think they need to be thinking about saving some of these weapons instead. Their finances not in the best state as of right now, and Twist with that secondary op just has to try and save it. Boomage, he has nothing to lose, and in fact won't even face his opposition as he goes down. And well, this is going to be the one thing that they at least get to keep, but where did those shots come from, Flamey? That was just ridiculous.
I was going to say, like, oh yeah, pick up the pace against the double ops. Like, it worked. But no, it was Flamey hitting some stupid shots. Oh my gosh, that first one as well was just insane because you saw them try to catch Simple on the jump, and Flamey just rounds the corner with a bullet directly with the receiver's name on it. Now we're going to see NIP go for a timeout, and like you're saying, these T-side rounds, you can't let too many slip on the CT side of train. And yet they've let 6 go.
Yeah, I think as well, like, I would take that pause. This is just me. I can't speak for Rez's mental fortitude. Maybe he is just one of those players that can go, things are going wrong, I'm absolutely fine. But he has had a few things over the last few rounds where you're going to want to punch a hole in the desk.
The train, falling off the train as well?
He fell off the train, got shot. There was another round where, well, basically the first few rounds, he was just getting wrecked over and over again. It was only the eco kills that he managed to get. Then he's like, okay, they're down to pistols. What can go wrong here? Flamey just runs out and 1Ds him. Those are positions where you've just got to be like, like, what can I do about that? There's nothing I could have done. At the same time, it's still going to be tilting. So probably good that he gets a moment, but at the same time, that's one of those rounds that it's just frustrating. Like, that was a few pistols. There wasn't much invested. Na'Vi just trying to basically do some damage and get a bomb plant. They steal it away, get their 6th, which, as I said, this was the struggle period for Na'Vi. This was where it was going, bye, like, slight force, bye, slight force. Like, they didn't really have anything going for them. It was dominant victories, and then that happens, and everything is broken. Everything goes wrong. Your utility is now minimized. Sure, you keep the double AWP, but if you lose this round, you're on an eco again. I
mean, Tom, like, if they, exactly. If they lose this round, you're looking at Na'Vi to be up to 8 on T side of train.
Yeah.
And the double AWP didn't work well last time. Obviously, there's asterisks around that because of the ridiculous shots that Flamey did hit, but still, like, it didn't work last time, and if you lose it here, then you're looking at already a first half loss, and you're already down 1 in the series. If you lose this map, then you're out of the entire event. There's a lot of pressure for NIP, but I do like this aggressive play. Try to use this SMG to your advantage, play an anti-flash here. Plopsky trying to hold up. They might round the corner directly into Plopsky's hands. So he's right, he's throwing a smoke, and he's not going to expect it. Rez is able to get a 1 and a second and redeem himself from before. Picks up the AK, and he might have a chance to get more as they're looking potentially push the smoke yet again. Rez just holding this very tough angle for them to clear. Molotov comes in. Oh, I was just flashbacks to Device right there. A little bit different with the bomb, but he's hitting some nutty shots this event, isn't he?
Yeah, this is looking like a plausible round now. Rez gonna get dunked with the nade. Simple. What did he just get? Did he kill him through the corner of the wall? Like, what do you even do if you're Rez in this scenario anymore? He's just getting owned by things that shouldn't be happening. Nork, though, Lecro and Twist all come up at once, and they manage to shut down the round. A good round from Rez, especially considering what he had invested. Gets aggressive with the MP9. He succeeds. Even if he gets headshot through a wall at the end, that was a good round for him. And now the T's, they're going to be able to invest. Simple. I'm wondering whether he'll go for the AWP or if he's going to drop over a rifle. You know, it looks like he dropped the AWP, which I don't really know what happened there, but
dropped
nonetheless.
It to himself.
Yeah, it's like, Simple, can I have a drop? Yeah, here you go. Don't you want the AWP? Yes.
My AWP.
Whoops. But to be fair, that's another thing that seems to happen with Boomage is he's the one making the sacrifice for the team. And to be fair, I'd quite like to see Simple on the AWP as well. So early round at least. Again, we're going to see just this close B-site presence coming out from Lecro. Doesn't have his SG anymore, which has been basically one of the things to really sing about on the Ninja side.
Correct if I'm wrong. Wasn't the Hero AK first done by Simple or for Simple?
I don't know if it's first done by him, but it first was successful with him.
Yeah.
Like, if you were going to choose a team where you'd want to drop one gun, that would be it. That nade was pinpoint. Flamey's almost just caught that one in his lap. He's down to 12 HP before he even witnesses anybody on the other side. Rez starting to come back into this, which, considering, as said, how bad things had gone initially, how tilted he could have got, he seems to be doing fine. Plopsky waiting. Rez in a decent position. He's going to pick off another. Flamey already low, but 2 come back, and Rez actually goes down. Nork now left on the site. He has support from Twist, but he can only really hold 1 or 2 angles, and Perfecto just domes Nork, leaving Lecro to rotate in. There is, however, the fact that 2 players on the other side are low, but one of them who isn't is Simple.
Bomb now going down. Twist might just look to save the AWP here. Na'Vi getting 1 step closer to taking the lead at the end of the first half on Train, which is their map choice. And yeah, I mean, Flamey on 12 health, like, they did all the damage in the world. They could have hoped for anything better than what they had with the Molotov and the grenade landing directly in his lap, and yet he still comes out and gets a kill. And Perfecto, here he talked about before, he hasn't had the opportunity to really shine. He hasn't been playing bad, but then he comes in with 2 big kills that they needed when they already had low players.
He's top of the board now.
Yeah.
Like, he's just been chugging along, just getting those nitty-gritty kills, and yeah, he's leading the way for Na'Vi.
Oh, no.
Flamey just behind him, and that's the thing, we highlight so many, well, we highlight 2 players the majority of times when it comes to this roster. It's not normally Perfecto and Flamey that we're going, okay, they're the 2 who are going to be leading the way, but at the moment that is the case. Simple, I think, has 8 kills, Boomage has 6, and Electronics down the bottom on 2. But the fact is, it doesn't seem to really matter. They have stars in every single angle. Flamey, at the end, I did notice he kills off the AWPer, which is just going to make things even more painful into this round. In fact, that's interesting. Now, the rest of the team is saving. It's almost like Twist was like, no, I had a gun here. So then buys. I guess it's because he had so little money. He was on the minimum amount that he just goes, okay, I'm going to have to force in the next round anyway. But I would have rather see the next round with him on a deagle and some utility or something extra at least, rather than, well, that.
Yeah.
At least he had a lot of impact.
God,
I'm mean.
You're so mean today. What happened? You had your pen with chocolat or something similar to it?
I don't know. I'm just mean today.
Are you just sad that you have to cast with me instead of Vince today?
No comment. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I love you both equally. One of you I look up to.
And it's Vince. Oh, let go.
I almost think that Boomage took a second there because he was just like, he hasn't seen me, has he? just let him walk for a little bit, just to be cruel. Plopsky, though, looking to try and save this AWP. It's going to be 2 rounds in a row. He's already getting tagged off, and it is both times trying to save an AWP, both times failing, and more. It would have been so important in that round as well, because we already spoke about how Twist invested everything into the last. He is going to get some extra utility, but instead he no longer has a Deagle and has a CZ. I would have felt like even an SMG would have been better in this scenario, but going into the last round of the half, it is the half victory already for Na'Vi on the T side of the map. Looking comfortable, at least for now. There was a streak of 4 that came in for the Ninjas, but a pistol victory proving to be painful. And now we sit with at least a purchase. They will have heard Boomage jump in, or at least they should have done. Plopsky has turned to peek the angle, and I think they've been a little bit scared almost by the bullets just flying through the smoke. Once again, you can see the temptation to get aggressive in towards that A main spot, but instead, they're going to try and reclaim Pop and succeed.
And Twist holding such a crucial angle for them too, over towards Ivy. Just the CZ, as you pointed out before. Considering they have a players pushed up towards Pop, they have a player out in the middle of the outer bomb site. If Twist falls, then the outside site should fall thereafter. I like how he's trying to buy a little bit of time here, just trying to shoulder peek, trying to get the smoke down as well so he can back off if needed. Or maybe even play close to the smoke technically. But Nox now rotating away towards back towards the inner side. The hits coming towards outers. You can see the smokes being thrown in, the Molotovs, flashes as well. Here comes Na'Vi on the attack. What a shot out of Electronic.
Yeah, I don't think it mattered what gun Twist had there. He's going down, Nork. However, we'll keep things even for now. Looking for the peak, but Simple's just too quick for him. Lecro said he's been their best player so far, but even he can't survive much longer. Plopsky left to try and fight this back, and it is just not going to be happening. A 9-6 in favor of Na'Vi on the T side. They are running riot on this map. It did seem like there was a little bit of hope at least, though, when it came down to the Ninjas. Like, they were doing a decent job when it came to, like, those few rounds in a row. They started to build economy. We saw the B site being firmly under their control. Unfortunately, that pistol round just blew everything out of the water. Flamey, he's had a great performance. Perfecto as well. I think he ended the half 15-7, or maybe even more, because that was at the end of round number 14.
Yeah, honestly, some ridiculous stuff out of Na'Vi, especially on T side of train. We did see a glimpse of hope for NIP, but now they need to take that hope and stretch it a little bit further as they move over onto the T side here of train after a short break.
I survived the pain, I know it made me stronger. They're looking at us, an audience. Keep telling us what we can do, but here we are, showing them, making them wish they were you. We've heard the most when it comes to this. Yeah, every shade of blue, but don't even care what they all say. They think we're out of control. Yeah, truth be told, we know it. It's just the way we live. We own it. 'Cause that we love the thrill. We know it. It's just the way we live. We're grown-up kids. We love the thrill. They're looking at us, an audience. Keep telling us what we can do, but here we are, showing them, making them wish they were you. We've heard the most when it comes to this. Yeah, every shade of blue, but don't even care what they all say. They think we're out of control. Yeah, truth be told, we know it. It's just the way we live. We own it. 'Cause that we love the thrill. We know it. It's just the way we live. We're grown-up kids. It's just the way we live.
Welcome back, everyone, to our Na'Vi versus NIP bloodbath that's currently going on. Currently, Navi's up 1-0 in the series and up 9-6 at the end of the first half of Train when they were playing on the T side. But now moving over to CT side, things are going to be picked up. The speed's going to be increased as we now see NIP trying to rush in towards this B-bomb side, and it's going to be a 2-for-2 trade in the end of things. Bomb should be planted here momentarily. But now it's going to be Na'Vi back on the attack here, looking to go for the retake.
Yeah, can NIP finally get themselves a pistol round? It hasn't been possible so far within this series. Every single one going the way of Na'Vi. They're in the best position we've seen them in so far. A retake being forced upon Na'Vi. Trade coming in initially. Flamey going to be getting nice and close to that bomb. Just going to try and bait them out by tapping it. Lekra already getting the kill, and now Flamey left alone. But he's got a chance to find Lekra, who's desperately low on HP. The only thing now is I don't know if he has the time to actually get the defusal falling all the way back just to try and take the fight versus Twist. And the Ninjas finally have themselves a pistol round. Something to get them started on this T side, and maybe there's still life in them just yet.
There definitely is. I don't think we can count them out just yet. I think the real test for them is going to come when Na'Vi goes for either like double op setup or maybe even to the first gun round. If it's a double op setup, I'm a little bit worried for NIP. But I'm also curious to see where Perfecto necessarily would be holding on the CT side, because being that strong anchor for the team like we saw Mirage at the B side, able to delay pushes in like we saw Lekra be able to do. I don't know if he has necessarily the same kind of like firepower when it comes to the actual entries in when he's defending, but he's been calling for the rotates really well. And that's what we've been praising Na'Vi of. They've been doing such a good job on CT side of Mirage of actually just predicting where NIP were going to go or getting the information they needed to know the position they were going to be heading into.
Well, they've still got to get past the force bite before they have themselves that extra bolster of cash to be put into the T side. It is going to be a heavy investment as well. A scout onto Simple with armor as well. I imagine that was dropped over by Boomage. What that means is we even have Flamey picking up a FAMAS. As I said, he has been clinical so far. It's going to be Perfecto up close around that B site spot. Smoke going to be thrown out, and he has one of his own. He can at least delay them for a bit. They've thrown out a fair amount of utility. Flamey hoping to find something through the smoke with a FAMAS, but nothing going to be coming his way just yet. And with all those nades being thrown into the side. Almost has to be the push, but there is Perfecto. Electronic chimes in with another as well. Perfecto with 3 in a round where all he had was a CZ. He didn't even use his smoke in the end. And now Nork left 1 versus 5. What an amazing force by run. You can see Electronic almost tempted to go straight through the smoke. Maybe wanting to put his stats up at least a little bit. It hasn't been his best performance so far, but if he's got Perfecto playing as well as he is, doesn't matter.
Maybe I jumped the gun a little bit, by the way, saying the real test is going to come into the buy rounds and potentially the double up at a Na'Vi. Maybe the real test is coming into the 4-up at a Na'Vi, because that worked out flawlessly for them. No deaths, 4 kills for Perfecto, and if there's any question whether or not he could frag out, I think we just saw it right there with the CZ. Well done by him on 19 kills, leading the way for his team by quite a decent margin as well, 5 ahead of Flamey. And now it's 10-7, NIP back on the Deagles and some armor. This is not a good sign for them. I mean, there was a big stack at a Na'Vi on towards the inner site, and that's what we were just talking about. They seem to have a really good read into what their opponents are going to be doing. NIP need to figure out what they can do now.
Well, I want to talk about, there was like an article, I think, that came out saying that a lot of the CIS organizations were going to meet up because there was this whole thing where teams were finding it hard to actually buy out players because they had such a ridiculous buyout on a lot of the players that, say, for example, Na'Vi wanted to purchase. I bet they're quite glad at the moment that they did, because the player they've got may not have necessarily been the one they went for initially, but Perfecto is looking fantastic within this team. I think we're seeing new life in Na'Vi. They're starting to be that exciting roster that we haven't seen for quite a while.
Yeah.
And it's not like he is like the odd one out or playing support roles or being forced into positions that he may not like to play. It seems like he's being given pivotal roles within the side. He is the B-side anchor on both Mirage and Train, and he's doing a great job of it so far. Of course, it's very early within the half. We are going to see the Ninjas force back in with a deco, although it is a full investment as well, so we'll see if they can do actually any damage. The real issue is the only utility they have is a couple of flashbangs. A scout onto Simple, not going to be ideal, but he can just look to hit them up, and Perfecto at range is already going to pick off 1, but Rez, that is not bad. 2 quick deeds back, looking for a little bit more, given the chance to spam away. He's hit the remaining 2 very low indeed, but it's left all on Telecro. A bullet per player would do the trick. There's the first, not quite the second though, maybe not expecting Flamey to be that close. He has a kit, so he'll be able to run around and get himself the defusal. And what was a round that could have been taken by the Ninjas, maybe even should have, is still going to fall into the hands of Na'Vi.
Either way, it was expensive at least. Getting 4 kills, getting the bomb down. Not enough money for them to buy, unfortunately, and they do try to keep the economy in check out of Na'Vi, but still Na'Vi take the round nonetheless. 11-7.
Ooh.
Simpa going for the op.
They're going for it.
Okay.
I can understand that. Like, you're getting almost edged out of this map just by the fact that Na'Vi have managed to break back. So you're going to try and catch them off guard. Now, unfortunately, the CT side buy is nowhere near as vulnerable as it was in the last round. But at the same time, you're coming up with far more weaponry. It's a risk from the Ninjas. But if they can pull it off, they're right back in the map.
Pretty sure Rez just heard Electronic jump there. Trying to hold this angle as Electronic's going to back away. There's actually 4 players kind of, well, 2 towards Ivy, 2 towards staying outside of T mid, but they're actually looking to try to maybe get an execute towards this outer bomb site. You still have Rez there to look for the flank in. Simply a takedown knock though, looking for more. Can't really dry peek him. And even if there's a smoke and a flashbang, it's not necessarily enough to stop Simple.
Oh, he is going to be tagged relatively low, so can't really afford to reface that angle, at least for now. Bear in mind that the weaponry is still standing for the Ninjas, so this isn't a done deal just yet. And also the CT side economy would take a huge hit if they were to lose this round. It is far more of a default out from NIP though. Maybe expecting a little bit of aggression here. If they were going to have an eco, they would have been able to buy fully into the next round. So maybe hoping that that was the expectation. Unfortunately, a second pick comes up for that AWP, leaving them with just players lurking outside this A site. 30 seconds left, and if they are going to make a play, they need to make it now. The only worry is, do they just save these weapons? Flamey in an aggressive position, but he gets taken out by Plopsky. Simple still here, but bear in mind, he does only have 29 HP. If they can even connect a shot onto him, that should be him down and back into a 3v3. But even just his presence is wasting time. There's only 12 seconds left. They have to go, and he's wrapped in from behind. Drop the bomb as well. This round is over. There is just no time for Reds to do anything, and he has to try and escape.
Oh, 2 seconds left. 1 second gets the kill, but he dies after time. Unfortunate for him. Down to 1,100. I mean, they had to save anyways, but still, Na'Vi get the final kill. They rescue the op for Simple, and now Na'Vi is up to 12. 4 rounds away from closing out this series and advancing through to potentially get the rematch against FaZe Clan, as they still have to go up against Vitality. And if I'm not mistaken, that actually is our final match of the day. Going to be brought to you by Vince and Wolfie. And now, NIP, they got the Deagles. They almost won the round with the Deagles when they went in 2 rounds ago, but I don't know if that's going to work a second time.
It is kind of mental to think that the lower bracket of this group right now has 4 previous best players in the world. Like, that is nuts.
That's how stacked this tournament is, right?
That's just this group. That doesn't even include anybody in the other group as well. So, yeah, ridiculous, of course. That is Simple, Zywoo, Cold, and Olaf for anybody who doesn't know that already. I'm sure most of you do. Either way, aggressive peek from Electronic. He has had some struggles in this game so far, and Nork putting a bullet between his eyes is not going to be helping that out. However, there's still huge limitations here for the Ninjas. They've basically saved everything they've got. Boom just using this to try and make some money. Even just dancing around, jumping up and down, and finding himself an extra kill. Simple again, going to be tagged low, and Boomage is just having an absolute field day. This is his chance to really make the moolah for the rest of the side. 3 kills, $1,800 later. And Nork's left in a 1v4.
It's so crazy to me to see just kind of how all-around Simple, how good all-around Simple is as a player. Because not only can he op, not only can he rifle, but he also supports really well with these flashbangs. He's basically like the complete package for a player.
Well, that's something that always, like, I think he developed over time. Like, still remember him playing in Flipside, and one of the biggest issues for him was his attitude towards the game. Like, he already had the skill. There was no doubt about that, but it was when teammates would be saving, he'd be buying. When he wouldn't support other players, they would support him. Like, that would be the thing. Now he has developed, and that's why he became the best player in the world. That's why the argument for best player in the world was only really between him and Zywoo, who Zywoo towards the end of the year was just absolutely destroying everyone. So it makes things that much more exciting. Of course, if Vitality go on to win, we get that battle. Obviously, Simple is not going to be happy with being rated number 2, even if many people disagree or what. So I'm sure that this year he's going to come out firing once again, but at the same time, I don't necessarily think the individual accolades are what really matters, especially to him. He wants a major, he wants these big tournaments under his belt, and right now, they're looking to keep themselves in the tournament, of course. More so, it's the Ninjas trying to survive. They are just 3 rounds away from having to leave Katowice. Of course, the trip home is not necessarily a long one, but I'm sure it will feel that way if they don't manage to come back, at least in this map.
Again, look how aggressive Na'Vi are playing here. Electronic. Holding so close. It's so good. 2 kills coming through. Eventually will fall. Boomage again with the SMG. Gets another kill. Puts into a 3-on-2 as both players are going to be locked in towards T-main and still going to maintain that spot as well. I know that Simple's going to be here with the AWP. They have to contend with, I think that's Flamey over towards Ivy. And Simple's going to miss that shot. A little bit uncharacteristic. Nox going to get a second as well on low HP. What a shot out of him. That's his 3rd of the round. And now it's on Perfecto, the anchor for the team. 21 kills leading the way for Na'Vi. And looking to clutch this one out.
I think he's trying to wait to see what they actually go for with a bomb plant. It gives him the chance to take an individual duel, but maybe starting to wonder if he's being pushed from other angles, trying to clear some of the remaining positions, or even just get into a position where he'd be better able to take down the man planting the bomb. Nork has to be careful here. That bomb plant position is going to be completely open. It's more down to his teammate to actually try and cover him off, and that's not going to be the case. This will be a very easy kill for Perfecto. The only issue is he has absolutely no idea where Letcrow is going to be. It could be anywhere on the map, likely to be towards Pop just because of the bomb plant, but the face comes out. He snaps over and he gets it as Whoa, it's not clean, it's not pretty, but it's enough for Perfecto. Another clutch coming up for the young starlet of Na'Vi. And this man is having one hell of a performance within IEM Katowice so far.
I mean, I remember looking at Reddit actually in the break, people were talking about, oh, Perfecto, the commentators just saying he's such a solid player. And I saw one person arguing about his KD. Like, yeah, look at his KD. He's terrible. Come on, look at him. His role is not to frag out. His role is to be an anchor. And in that round, his role was to clutch it out. He was able to do just that. 23 kills, 108 ADR, and gets Na'Vi one step closer to advancing further on into the tournament. I mean, Lekro, to be fair, he's having a phenomenal game too. 19 kills. His CT side B holds were a thing of beauty when we saw him have the SG in hand. But this is the threat of Na'Vi right now. I think we're seeing, like, anyone can pop off, anyone can clutch, and then you still have Simple, who's just going to bring you a consistent game no matter what.
Yeah, but even if you're looking at Electronic, like, he's not having his best performance, but even in that round is still able to get a double kill that just started things off very badly. NIP do a great job of actually getting back into the round, but they can't deal with Perfecto. That's multiple clutches. We saw it on Mirage as well, that when he was called upon, he's performed. And again, he's doing his role well. His B-site defense has been phenomenal. Have you noticed the fact that over the last few rounds, they've been going towards A, probably trying to avoid the guy in form? Simple now even going to be sent up to join him, maybe expecting a switch in strategy. Instead, Twist this time is able to catch Electronic. Also, Lekro just executes Boomage, but Flamey again. He's going to chime in with a double. Surely Plopsky should have his number here. In fact, the whole squad going to be rotating into Flamey. He has no idea that they're sneaking their way through Ivy. Perfecto with a fantastic nade over the top. He's going to be padding that utility damage, but not his stats this time, as Nork has come alive over the last few rounds, really moving up that scoreboard. Simple, unfortunately this time, I fear it has to be a save, although we'd love to see him give this one a go. The bunny's not there for Na'Vi. The T's have finally broken the deadlock and got themselves another round on the board after a streak of 5 for Na'Vi. Can this be the start of something, or will this be, I should say, because if not, it's over.
I mean, that's NIP's adaptation there, right? Instead of going towards middle, where they've been shut down time and time again, or they have to contend with how aggressive Na'Vi have been playing, they go Ivy. And they actually catch them a little bit off guard there with the 3 players rushing straight through. So I think I like that. I just don't know how many rounds it's going to continue to work, though, against Na'Vi. Because if they just go back to more of a passive hold towards the outer bomb site, then those pushes won't be as successful.
Well, the other thing is, as well, is the adaptation that Na'Vi made in that round was that Simple was in upper B. Most times he's on Ivy. So it was more that this round Na'Vi expected them to play towards the B site because the A site has failed over the last few rounds. So they took a gamble, and that gamble ended with Flamey being killed from behind. So it is a great round from NIP. I think the fact that basically Twist and Lekro pulled the focus of Flamey towards that middle position meant that that opening came up, so they definitely earned the kill that they got onto him. But at the same time, this is what I mean. We're now back to 4 players on this site. They're going to leave the opponent of Perfecto on the other side. And look how much damage the utility's done. They've not even seen anyone yet. Finally, Nork will go through again. He's going to get that opener, but there is Simple to find another as they go barreling into this site.
Simple going to get tagged up down to 29. Oh, Perfecto, though, inside of sight. Bomb has been dropped by Electronic. This could be so hard to recover, though, cleanly. You see Rez able to return, though, and Lekro trying to play on the top of this train. He knows that Perfecto's around the bomb train, but he needs to connect the shots. That's going to be the problem for him. They do have a flank coming in, though. Look at Rez. He can easily get behind. Simple actually rotating back towards CT spawn. Is Simple actually going to go around the long way. Rez is going to sneak in so cleanly here, and there's no way Perfecto's going to expect this. There you go. Now Simple, the last left alive yet again. I would imagine he's probably just going to try to save this here. But Rez and Lekro are on so low HP. Just the USP alone at a Simple could be enough to finish him off. But it looks like NIP have been able to clutch out the round.
I think at this point he was still expecting it to be a play towards the B site. Just because of how deep that Rez was able to get, they would have known that this position was clear. Instead, Simple is just going to opt to save. It's basically that trade-off of what is more likely, basically. Is it more likely that Simple will be able to win this clutch, or that he'll be able to have high impact with the AWP in the next round? And it's much 50, of a muchness. Yeah, it's arguably the way, no matter the decision he went for. But by the looks of it, he is just going to be holding on to that AWP. And, well, hopefully that means he's going to be a little bit more aggressive in that round. But again, we see a big play coming up. Rez able to do a lot of work, especially that late flank around when things got a little bit messy. And especially considering how much damage they took in the early portions of the round, that could have easily slipped away if he wasn't able to get that kill. So again, the Ninjas keep on fighting. A little bit of damage taken from the bomb. Simple, not going to have any trouble saving his AWP.
He's getting a little bit scared that he would turn around and spot Simple there. But still, 14-9, NIP have been able to, claw away some rounds here. Credit to them here on the T side. They need to continue to do so. And thing is, even though you're only up against the one AWP out of Na'Vi, it's still Simple on the AWP. And it's still something you're going to have to respect and really pay attention to. We also saw what the force up out of Na'Vi in round 2 after NIP won the pistol round. With just the CZs alone, Perfecto got a quad kill.
I'm interested to see what will happen if Na'Vi lose this round, because even in terms of money for the next, it's not going to be anything particularly good. Like, they'll still have a lot of pieces missing, so I wonder if they'll have to actually go into double eco territory, and if that is the case, I wonder if it would have been worth saving all this money or just buying up behind Simple's AWP. It would have been a big risk, again, but at the same time, 2,400, okay, Perfecto will be able to get the bare minimum of a rifle. The rest of the team will be sat around 4,000, but it's still not great for a CT side buy. Either way, Twist is going to be waiting patiently. No real Kevlar onto anybody other than Simple, who is just going to be playing at the back of the B site. So, again, not really in the right position to do too much damage. Ivy control completely taken by the Ninjas. This has been one of their positive spots, I guess you could say, and that AWP is gone. It's already going to hit the deck. Simple, going to have no impact in this round. Exactly what they needed to do. Clear out that one real dangerous weapon. Flamey burning down. He's not immune, even with the name. While in the end, it is just going to be Boomage left with his trusty Zeus, hoping to maybe tilt someone a little bit.
Oh. I still remember during the Pro League, Dust, he did his own rendition of what it sounds like to be Zeused, and it was phenomenal. I think it should be put in the game.
Was it the sound of you being Zeused or the sound of the Zeus?
Being Zeused.
Oh, okay.
That one, he did it was fantastic.
Okay. That's his special skill.
Hey, I mean, at least he has one. I couldn't say that for myself, except maybe
true.
Getting things off high shelves.
Hey, that's a struggle.
Well, it's going to be NIP to get double digits here. First time in the series. Remember, it was a 16-3 on Mirage. Boomage just going to be able to save the AK into the next round. And I mean, the money, it's kind of there. Perfecto's a little bit low. I wouldn't be too surprised to see Na'Vi invest into this, but I feel like it's a more of a idea into the mindset of Na'Vi if they do save, that they feel like, okay, let's just make sure we can get the full buy up into the next round, which, let them have one more to look to close us out. And they go for like a soft buy into this.
Yeah, I actually don't mind this at all. I said it at the beginning of the last round, like, I wasn't sure if they'd have the money to get the buy at least that they'd want. And considering how much of a pivotal role Perfecto plays, him not having extra utility would be an issue. Like, having your B site anchor without a smoke or without an incendiary is not really okay. Even still, they've been given a chance for Boomage to maybe be the hero. Simple on a scout is no question, and Flamey's had some dirty deeks throughout this game so far, so can't count them out of anything. The Ninjas need to be methodical here. They're going to be building up into this B site this time as well. And actually, the CT side are starting to gamble in that direction as well. Already 3 players there. I think the footsteps may have been heard by Boomage, who's going to be lurking around Pop. Just waiting to see if they do go for the double back. It sets them up quite nicely, actually. So if they rotate, they walk into the AK. But if they continue on their path, they walk into the stack. Although the stack seems to be moving away. But so do the teams.
It's kind of reminiscent a little bit there of the second round of the second half, when Na'Vi were prepared with the pistols and the stack on the B site. It looks like you're right. Looks like they will head back in towards outer. Rez trying to cause a little bit of a fake, a little bit of a commotion on the inner bomb site. Now Flamey, he's got a deagle, he's got the smoke as well to help buy some time. 28 seconds left. They're going to have to push the smoke, and they've done that. Boomich able to get his first with the AK. Flamey still looking for his opportunity to get one. You can see Nox low on HP. Time is taken away. The Molotov as well buys him a lot of time, as well as Flamey getting a double kill. Not able to get the third, though. Unfortunately, his Twist shuts him down. But with 13 seconds left, can NIP even get into the bomb site to plant? Boomich is there, and Twist is able to clean him up, but they've fallen. Na'Vi on the soft buy, get their 15th round on the board.
We've seen a couple of those now, where Na'Vi just come up massive in a situation where they really shouldn't be able to do it. Flamey, once again, that is now 2 rounds that I think have almost been solely won just by his individual skill with the Deagle. Like, there was the T-side round where he just managed to run into the site and get 2 openers. Here, he delays the push, because that was the players that were holding the bomb as well. They were trying to almost just shepherd it into position. And instead, Flamey just shuts him down, leaves his teammates to clear up the remaining mess. And of course, that AK put in the impact as well. I also wonder if the Ninjas just second-guessed themselves a little bit, because it was a late change back towards the site.
I wonder what it was that made him go for that call to change.
I don't know. Could have been footsteps, could have just been a read into the situation, but whatever it was, Na'Vi managed to get themselves the victory. They come in with the stronger buy this time. Letko is going to be on the Deeg. We do have the T's looking for that upper B control once again. Maybe trying to just hold players in this position. Perfecto, haven't really seen him play up here just yet. It's going to allow for the 1-2 punch alongside Simple's AWP. And from the ramp, I don't know if they're going to check this straight away, if they do just plan to go into the site. Now, utility not at the highest amount. That's why we're seeing this push into the B site. It'll be a little bit easier. They didn't expect Perfecto to be here, however, and now they're in real trouble, but they take him down. An important kill nonetheless. Utility and Spray doing a lot of damage onto the remaining players. Simple, he wants these kills, but he'll be caught for it. Plopsky keeping this dream alive, but a nice shot from Flamey once again. He's going to open up into the site. The wraparound also looking to come in from Boomich. This flank could be an issue. Twist going to be sat here holding, needs this kill, and it's all on to Nork, and he can't quite keep them in the tournament. It is going to be Na'Vi going marching on to meet either Vitality or FaZe for another stacked matchup. And unfortunately for the Ninjas, that is going to be their ticket home.